Namaste. Today we will study use of mathematics in biology. We can say that this topic refers with mathematical biology. First, we need to understand what we will be doing. We will be studying mathematical biology or biological mathematics. This is a very important question before we go further. First, we need to understand biology. If we unable to understand biology, then how we apply mathematics? Because our objective is to understand biology in deep. There are various questions. We initiate our lecture by a general observation of nature or environment. If we see the animal, if we see the ocean, if we see the plants, there are many questions exist. Why leaves are green? Why population of bacteria grows? Why human population grows? In 1821, Thomas Malthus proposed his theory of population. He raised a question about human population and its dangerous rate of growth. There is the disaster we are observing. Why this disaster exists? Definitely, the uncertain or exponential growth of human population is responsible. We know that there is the reason definitely why mathematics is important to understand biology properly, because biology is definitely a hidden function, because biology is defined under the natural phenomena. Thus, biology is a natural or biological phenomena, but how this phenomena to be understood properly, thus mathematics will play a wonderful tool to study biology quantitatively, qualitatively and optimally also. This slide is showing that why mathematics is useful for studying biology. We know that only we need to define biology through mathematics. It means there exists a natural biological phenomena, but by human understanding we transformed the natural biological phenomena into mathematical problems. We simply see that the science of calculation is mathematics and the science of life is biology. Then all the biological problem transformed into mathematical problem. Thus, we have to solve mathematical problem instead of biological problem for exact or perfect result. A simple and interesting example we have. This is a bread, but there are number of or infinite molds. Where is the growth? How we measure the growth of these mold process? There are number of bacteria, but how bacteria grows? Next, a simple classification of bacterial growth modeling through mathematics. In classification of biology, a general observation is any biologist put on his table. That is, first he see the bacteria, how bacteria grows. There is definitely a reason of growing bacteria. Next, testing is very important, because without testing he never concludes the decision or any rule. Next is data analysis. Whatever the data of that experiment, this data requires to analyze by the statistical tool, then ultimately we have the result. But there is doubt how the result we believe this is the perfect. The doubt of result is a very simple. There is error, maybe there is perfect result, maybe, but how we can define this result is exactly correct. But mathematics is the parallel process. Bacteria is defined by the function, it means a rule. Bacteria grow is defined by the calculus theory, rate of growth, because a certain number of bacteria after time t it increases to certain number of, then it formulate into equation. Then we have to solve this equation by the mathematical method, and ultimately we have not just solution, but through mathematics, through operation research, we have the optimal solution. It means maybe it is maximizing the result or minimizing. It means ultimately whatever optimum is required, this theory develops the same. Then the whole process is transformed into the single equation. This single equation is nothing defined to how bacteria grows, but it represents the reason of growing the bacteria through the mathematical equation. Then we have to deal of solving this equation for the roots Bt plus 1 minus Bt. B is the bacteria, T is the time or time index, Bt is the density of bacteria at time t. Bt plus 1 is the again density of bacteria after t plus 1 time. There are two distinct time domain, and the difference between Bt plus 1 minus Bt is a total algebraic or arithmetic aspect, because minus is used here and minus is the algebraic operation. Therefore, we have to apply the algebra properly if we confirm what is the problem actually, and this equates to the minus r multiply Bt. This is the resultant. Definitely we have to check by the mathematical process, is it equal or not. This is the modeling of bacteria growth equation through algebra. Again, there are different questions in the nature. Amongst them we select another question: sunlight extinction or depletion below the surface of the ocean. It means the distribution of sunlight is not homogeneous or not uniform. In the context of depth of the sea level, we can see there is shark, but bottom of the shark the light density is low than the top of the shark. It means there is not homogeneous light distribution, light density. Definitely it will affect the living or evolution process of any living things. How this observation is transformed into mathematical problem? Simply we put the correspondence between biological observation into mathematical problem or mathematical phenomena. Light, water, this is the variables, it transformed into the function, because light is definitely passes through the water, and we know that there is the change in the speed of the light and also its distribution. Light decreases with depth, definitely this is the rate. Rate means calculus, because certain function is changing with respect to time, therefore, it is defined by rate. Next is the experiment. Again the biologist try to understand how the light decreases with depth and what is its effect. Simply mathematics converts it into an equation. Next is the data analysis. By the mathematics we have to solve that equation. Finally, in the biologist desk the result, but we do not confirm the result after mathematical recognition. Therefore, optimal solution transform this solution into the behavior or applied result. Simply as the earlier modeling, the same modeling exists here of the light depletion with respect to the depth of the ocean. I t plus 1 is the density or intensity of light after t plus 1 time index. I t is the density of light at t time. The similar one how represents by the minus f multiply I t. Definitely minus f is representing the changes, its positive changes. It means 1, 2, 3, 4 with respect to 0, minus 1, minus 2 or 2, 4, 5 or 3, 4, 6. It means if there is the input value, then what will be the output value? Simultaneously the value will increase or value will be decreased, directly proportional or indirectly proportional. We are all familiar with the algebraic rule. If we do not know mathematical principle and we do not know the biological phenomena, then the modeling is very infeasible and impractical also. Therefore, algebra is important, but biological phenomena is more important for drawing this mathematical equation. What a wonderful, beautiful biological pattern. In sunflower, in rose, in jasmine, why the essence or scent exists, why the color of rose are distinct, why there are different structure and shapes of leaves, why the length and size of the trees are important. Maybe these all are concerning with the biological phenomena, but through the mathematics, through the quantitative approach, we will try to understand how these variants appear. Simply periodic function, because in sunflower there is the pattern, in the mango tree there is the pattern, there are variety of apples, but there are patterns exist. This is defining through the periodic function f x plus t, where f x is a function and t is the particular period or time. But after that f x plus t, there is no change in the output, the same function occur. Simple example, the sin theta or just like that curve, simply we see that a particular time, after particular time, same change occurs or the repetition shape occurs. The repetition is referred by the periodic. Sin theta, the period of sin theta is 2 pi, also for cos theta It means sin theta plus 2 pi is again sin theta. Sin cos theta plus 2 pi is again cos theta, because 2 pi is the period of sin and cos. Similar one, the tan theta and cot theta. Tan theta plus pi is again tan theta, cot theta plus pi is again cot theta. It means pi is the period for tangent and cotangent. Chemotherapy equation. Chemotherapy means we know that process of curing the cancer. Cancer means the study of cell, the characteristics of cell. What are the rate of increment in cells volume, in cells size, in cell any parameter if there is any change. But how change measures? Very simply, change is defined through calculus. Here we see that number of tumor cells, that is n, and after time t, what will be the change in n? It is defined by the d by dt or derivative of n with respect to time t. It just defining the change in tumor cells, because chemotherapy is applying for changing the tumor cells. If the change does not measure, then how we understand the process? It is effective or not effective. Simply it is defined by the growth rate of cells minus drug induced death rate of cells. Simply it is defined by the equation, but that linguistic terminology is understandable for the biological phenomena, but dn by dt is enough through calculus for defining the change in tumor cells. Chemotherapy equation, again drug unit. Drug unit is feasible, drug unit is effective. How we define the drug is perfect or appropriate for curing the cancer or chemotherapy process is effective? Simply we define drug infused rate minus uptake by cells minus rate of removal by circulation. This is the process which is applied by chemotherapy, but how we measure this whole process through the single value? By the calculus. Calculus means rate of change with respect to time t. It means rate of change in drug unit C is defined by the dC by dt. dC is the small change and dt is the small change, but dC is the small change in drug unit and dt is the small change in time. Its ratio is the whole change in C or drug unit. Next, a wonderful equation that is referred by glucose insulin kinetics. There are parameters. We can see the variables is very important. If we define the nature or any biological thing, then simply we need to define its variables, either dependent or independent. Suppose a body is there or any animal is there, then first we need to check what are the independent variables and how many independent variables are there. If more than one independent variables, then definitely the partial differential equation is applied. If the independent variable is only one, then the function may be y equal to f x. It means an ordinary differential equation is required. Thus, there are biological phenomena represented by the parameters, and we have an insulin equation through calculus. Dx by dt is the change in x with respect to time t, and the right hand side is an equation referred by I minus f1x plus f2y. It means if we multiply the change dx by dt into v, it means the same value occurs at right hand side also. Through this we have an ordinary differential equation problem. But how this differential equation be solved? Its solution means finding the value of x, because x is changing. If we have the value of x, then definitely dx by dt, here x definitely will be function of t, thus dx by dt occurs. Therefore, this insulin equation is defined and corresponding with the biological aspect of its effectiveness. Next, glucose equation. The same thing occurs here. Instead of x, the rate of change in y. Rate of change in y, it means after time t, what is the change is measured in y. The change in y is represented by simple and ordinary differential equation. Dy by dt is multiplied by v, and again we have the right hand side. This is referred as glucose equation of calculus application through ordinary differential equation. A wonderful picture we can see here. This is the sunflower. We know that there is the atom, but this is a biological phenomena to refer atom, but as the mathematician, atom is referred by prime number. It means prime number is required. Prime numbers means 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, which is only divisible by 1 and itself. Then what is the relation between prime numbers and the structure of sunflower? Very simply we define by the Hemchen series or Fibonacci series 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. If you observe interestingly or keen observation, then we find 0 plus 1, then 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, and so on. This is just a sequence. Then what is the relation between this sequence into the structure of pattern of sunflower? This is defined by the in 11th century Hemchen, famous Indian mathematician. But in the mathematical world, this is referred by the Fibonacci series. It is defined by Fn equal to Fn minus 1 plus Fn minus 2. If we put the n equal to suppose 2, then F2 equal to means 0, 1, then after 1. How it occurs? Fn minus 1, it means 2 minus 1, 1, F1 plus F2 minus 2 is 0. It means 0 plus 1 is again 1. Whatever the value which is greater than 1, we can put and obtain the pattern of sunflower or the Fibonacci series. Again, famous mathematician or greatest mathematician or the mentor of great Indian mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan, Professor G. H. Hardy, and his friend Weinberg presented genetic law. Genetic means how the same pattern exists, how the same species of animal appears. Through the algebra or algebraic principle, we define this genetic law. there are some hypotheses. On the base of this hypothesis, we select second number. Process of matting is random, entities are diploid, generation do not overlap, equality of allele frequencies in terms of sexes. These are the hypotheses. It means the clear and confident understanding of biology. But how this becomes into an equation? Simply by the simple polynomial p square plus 2 p q plus q square. This is just a quadratic equation which degree is 2. This quadratic equation how appears? Very simply by the genetic law or algebraic principle. FAA for p square, simply AA homozygotes extended by F capital A and small a equal to 2 pq, because there is the distinctness between capital A and A referred by 2 pq, but the homogeneous order, first term p square of order 2, pq again order 2 and q square is again order 2. It means this is the second order equation and this is the quadratic equation. Through this equation we define the genetic law, and again this is the great application nowadays. It applies for developing quantum computation, quantum computing and digitalization of the world through the biological and mathematical phenomena. There are inputs, those are neurons x1, x2, x3 and xn, but these neurons are transformed into the function, because we know that one side is the neurons, but another side we have to find the value in binary form. Therefore, the 0 1 form, simply it is defined by the summation from 1 to n xi. It is represented by x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on. It means this is the neuron equation proposed by McLeod and Pitts. This is the chaotic form again we have in the nature, but in mathematics we define by the sequence 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. What are these sequences? And these are the series. Simply we apply the operation 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. But what are actually this? This is the function or rule or special function where domain is natural number, but the range is ordered list. Simply in mathematics it is transformed into the simple or beautiful patterns. This is the Breeder's equation. The trait Z defines for the mean, S is the process of selection, then change in Z means what is the process is applied, there exists the change in Z is represented by H square S for Breeder's equation. Delta Z equal to Z square S is a simple equation, but its resultant biological phenomena we can see what a beautiful phenomena only by this consistent change occurring. Next, there are various and popular equations. We know that Professor John Nash is the greatest mathematician of modern era who developed the game theory. He never thought the game theory is applicable for the computer science or biological world, but theory is more important than practical previously, but now we know that practical is also very important because it is a serving of mankind. The same equation we have, it is referred by Volterra predator and pre-model. X is the variable, set by prey and y is the predator is referred by the time t. Then we have the change in x defined by the x minus bxy. Similar one xt, yt, y dash t. We can see that the first two equation is an algebraic equation and second last two equation also an algebraic equation, but it is represented in the form of exponential term. This is the change we define with the algebraic aspect. Approximation of biological function, we know that there may be error, there need to be approximate, then very simple Taylor series formulation to be applied for the approximate. Suppose 1.5 or 1.00001, then how we approximate 1.001 into the integer, because in the nature we have already discussed nature is corresponding with the prime number. Suppose 2.003 is not a prime, but after approximation 2.003 it becomes 2. This is the Taylor series application. Similar one error estimation, there exists an error because biologist has the data, but there may be the error through the calculus absolute error, relative error and percentage error. If we confirm about the error, then we reduce this error into the result. Again wonderful mathematical or linear algebraic aspect for studying the environment. Environment modeling is the very biological phenomena to be put into the uniqueness of the biology. Therefore, the uniqueness of the biology transform into the position of its appearing. Therefore, the matrix approach by the eigenvalue problems or the linear algebraic aspect, we can define the uniqueness of the biological phenomena. Next is the Laplace transformation, very simple biological chaos, but there is no chaos if there is the transformation referred by the Laplace transformation, because by the Laplace transformation all the initial value problems is transformed into the algebraic equation for the feasible solution. Therefore, Laplace transformation is a valuable tool. Similar one Fourier series, it is applicable for the periodic function. If fx is the periodic function, we have already discussed sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta all are periodic functions. If the patterns we have, then this pattern can be understood, can be studied through the Fourier series. And finally, we have the conclusion. This is the comparison between biology and mathematics. We know that there are the 4 pillars of mathematics or 4 fundamental branches of mathematics: algebra, calculus, number theory and geometry. We know that through algebra biological operation is defined. Rate of changes corresponds with calculus. Evolution is defined by the number theory because prime number or atom becomes molecule, but how number theory defines this. Geometry means the pattern, the whole nature, whole environment is the reflection of geometry, but all biological patterns is transformed into a function. Thank you.